YouTube, Christina Careless here. I'm going to do a Gimp tutorial on how to create a space background. So this is pretty easy and it's actually one of my absolute favorite things to do. Okay, so first of all you just need to create a new image, and I'm just going to do a 600 by 500. It does not matter what you do though, it just depends on what you want to use it for. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is you want to color the entire background black. And after you do that, you want to go up to Filters, Noise, HSV Noise. And I want you to crank the saturation, the value, and the holdness all the way up, but keep the hue all the way down. And then just hit OK. That will give you a night sky full of stars. Okay, so then another thing you can do, you can keep it like that, or if you wanted to add a little bit more of a flare to it, you can go down here to Sparkle, under Filters, and then Lights and Shadow, and take the luminosity threshold all the way down to 0.001. And then I have the flare intensity at 0.5, the spike length at 20, spike points at 4. Pretty much everything is exactly the same except for the luminosity. And then just hit OK. And it'll give you random stars that are brighter than the others, and some are the same. Okay, so for the next part, I'm going to show you how to create a planet. So go ahead and create a new layer. We're going to call this the planet layer. Alright, so make sure you're clicked on that and go to Filters and Render, and then Sphere Design. Well, Sphere Designer. And I want you to make sure you're on Texture, and then go down to Noise for the texture. And you can play with the colors, just depending on what you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a... We'll do like a orangish planet. No, that doesn't look right. How about, we'll just do a red planet. Alright. Okay, so you can change all of this all you want, just to make it look how you want it to look. No, that doesn't look right. Did a gray. That looks kind of cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit OK. And you can play with that as much as you want. It doesn't really matter. It is going to stretch to be whatever size your photo is. So I'm going to go ahead and make this into an actual circle. I'm not doing it perfect. I'm just guesstimating. Right, then I'm going to go ahead and make it super tiny. And you can move this to wherever you want. Alright, another thing I like to do around the planets, just to create a cool look to it, is, actually we're going to move the planet over here. We're going to take the airbrush tool and make it white, and then we're just going to draw some kind of like some fog around it. Okay. And then we're going to alpha to selection that and create a new layer again, and go down to Render, Clouds, and Plasma. Now you can mess around with the plasma until you get a color you want. I want the bright orange. Alright, and then you can just screen or overlay it. Pretty much make it however you want. That actually doesn't look right, so we're just going to delete that. But you get the point. You can create fog around it by doing that. Okay, so Another thing that I like to do is I like to create the, I guess it would be astro dust or something. Stuff that looks like clouds in the night sky. Okay, so you want to go down to Render, Clouds, and Difference Clouds. Oh no, I lied. Not Difference Clouds. Go to Clouds, Solid Noise. There we go. And you can change it however you want. Alright, so it gives you this background here. And I'm going to change the mode on this to try hard light. That doesn't quite look right. Grain merge looks pretty good. Alright, so we're going to create another new layer, and this is going to be the cloud coloring. And we're going to go down to Render, Clouds, and Plasma. And it's going to bring up this, and it's going to be all sorts of crazy colors. I like to lower it just because I don't like I don't like too much color. If it looks too colored, then it doesn't look right. So go ahead and hard light or grain merge this one, so it'll give it a kind of a glowy look. Or you can also overlay it to where it's just over the actual clouds, which I'm gonna go ahead and do. I'm gonna do soft light. That looks about right. Okay, so for the last little part that I like to add in there, I like to give like a black hole looking thing. So I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to re-show the plasma, and I'm going to crank it up a little to where it's got a lot of contrast, and then go ahead and black and white it, and make sure you do luminosity, that way the there's darker and lighter. And then go ahead and go to Distorts, Whirl, and Pinch. And I have the whirl angle all the way up, but I'm actually going to turn it down a little. Okay, so I have it at 425.35, and then the pinch amount is at 0, and the radius is just enough to cover the whole thing. Alright, so now you want to take the eraser and make sure you have the circle fuzzy select, and just erase around it to where you don't see any hard edges. Alright, now that you've done that, go ahead and scale it down. Oops. But you want to make it longer. And I like to up the contrast on it. Okay, so now I'm going to create a new layer, and it's going to be the black hole coloring. And what you're going to do is Alpha 2 selection on here, and you're going to go to Render, Clouds, and Plasma. And I'm just going to go about there. And then just find a mode that looks right on it. There we go. And then you can merge down and rotate it or put it wherever you ultimately want it. I'm going to throw it over here. Well, maybe I'll put it up here. We'll move the planet. Alright, so that's pretty much it. You can add more planets, or you can also add, oh, I'll show you one more thing that you can do. You can create a kind of like a star, pretty much, a bigger star. You want to go to Lights and Shadows and Gradient Flare, and then you can just click whatever type of, star you want. I'm going to use Distant Sun, and we're going to make it a yellow sun. So, there you go. It just adds it to it, and you can resize it or move it, whatever you want to do. Alright, well, that's it for this tutorial. I hope I showed you something you didn't know before, or at least gave you some cool ideas of your own. If you would like to request any edits or request any tutorials for me to do, go ahead and contact me in any of the links below. Alright, have a good night.